Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. So what I have today is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I am revisiting an old painting that I did about 3 years ago. There is the original one on the right. Well, actually that's a print of my painting, and here's the one I did on the left. And I wanted to revisit, do a looser line and wash of this painting, see if I could do it. It was a challenge to me, but I did do it. So here's Paynes Gray. These are the colors I used: brown madder, raw sienna, and cerulean blue. I also used a Posca pen and two other black markers. So here's the print on the left. I did it on watercolor, and I use a little different color palette than I did with the one today. And then here's the one I attempted on the right, and I did mask out the hanging lights and the girl in the middle. She was riding the bicycle, and I actually took this picture myself when we were in Barcelona. So I'm just showing, I kind of did a rough sketch of the drawing with my pencil, and it's the original watercolor took me a while to do because it was very detailed. Well, to me it was detailed, and using I sketched it with a pencil and just trying to get all the angles correct and the perspective correct and everything, and painting it took me a while to do. So I wanted to try and revisit it, doing it as a looser painting, a line and wash, and something that wasn't so tight, because I'm trying to work on not being so tight with my paintings, and I figure I was just gonna go ahead and record myself doing this. I hadn't tried this before with any of my paintings. I've tried to do loose paintings, but not one that I've done previously that was, not a loose painting. To me, this is loose. Maybe to other people it might not be loose, but to me, the one I did here that I'm working on right now was loose. But so as you can see, I'm just using a mixture of those colors and just laying it down, kind of using my original as a reference photo, as you can see on the left, my original painting. And I'm figuring, this could be somebody else out there watching might also want to do this with one of their paintings, kind of revisit a painting and maybe try it in a different style, or maybe try it again now that it's been maybe a few years and repaint it to see how you've progressed. When I painted this couple years ago, I had done some line and washes, but I hadn't really done much loose painting. So I really love this picture, the picture that I took, and I really like the painting that I did, the original one. But I just thought it'd be fun to try and do it again. So as you see, I'm just kind of doing my first layer, and what I do is I put down my first layer of light, wet on dry layer, and then after that dries, I'll come with my pen, my first run through with my pen, and kind of sketch out some of the main parts of the painting. Now, as you watch, I did not do this perfectly. I did make I try not to put as much detail in it, so some of my lines are a little wonky. Some parts of the painting I like that I did, and other parts I don't It's not that I don't like, but I think I could have done better. But like I said, this is the first time I've really done this, and I just want to record myself doing it because maybe somebody else might want to do it and might learn something from it. Um, I definitely learned something from it. I'm gonna try and do it again with another one of my paintings. Maybe I'll pick something that's not so difficult to do. I mean, I wouldn't say this was difficult, but it wasn't easy for me. It was challenging for me, and I think this video is good because it does also show how you can take a painting or a photo that looks complicated, that might have a lot of details, and how you can kind of just adjust it to be looser, and not as detailed or difficult to paint. I really do enjoy looking at line and wash paintings, and I have done other line and washes, like I said, but usually they're scenic ones that are a little bit more simple. Not a cityscape like this one, because cityscapes I tend to paint tightly or, not loose, but I'm trying to work on that. So I thought I'd document my journey on this. um, Actually, I forgot to tell you that is cold press watercolor paper that I'm working on, 100%. Fabriano, one of my favorites, and I did mask it off to be 5x4, which is the same size as my print of my painting that I'm using on the left. My original painting, that one I did was, I believe, an 8x10. So I do use two different size pens, black markers. This is a 0.4. Then I come in later to do a little bit of finer line work with a 0.3 extra fine tip. This painting definitely goes through an ugly stage. I almost gave up on it halfway through because I was just looking at it as I was going and just did not care for it. To me, it looked wonky, because I didn't use a ruler when to make straight lines. When I did in the beginning, when I did my pencil drawing, I did use a little bit of a ruler just for some guidelines, but I didn't use it when I painted my first wash and I came back with this pen. I didn't really follow those lines very much, and I didn't use a ruler, so I didn't really like how it was looking. But as you see, I stuck with it and finished it out, and actually I do like the end product. It's got some character to it and I do like the colors I chose. I wanted to keep the painting bright, and the original photo that I took was a darker photo. It was one of those, if I don't know if people have been to Barcelona or lots of European cities, they have those little cool alleyways and roads and all that. And this was in the Gothic part of Barcelona, and it was kind of dark, actually. The original photos darker because it was a nice sunny day, but it was darker because those buildings are so close to one another. It was creating shade, and then the string of lights was glowing. It was really neat, and the girl just happened to go by me on a bicycle, and I snapped a photo, and it's one of my favorite photos that I've taken of that trip. But So I wanted to keep the painting light though. So here I am coming in with, after I did my kind of my little sketch there with my pen after my first wash, I'm coming back. Here I'm using uh, a flat brush. And I'm coming back and adding a second layer of paint. I'm trying to add some shading, some other colors. I'm using, a mixture of the brown matter with the Paynes gray. And I'm also using a mixture of the brown matter with the raw sienna, which makes a really nice color too. And then, so I'm just kind of, I have on my palette to my right, which you can't see, I just kind of have my mixtures all sitting there. So here I'm kind of doing a little bit of dry brushing, and then adding some shadows, trying to keep it looser. But to me, line and wash is good for beginners. Or a painting, like I said, that might look a little difficult, that you want to try an attempt, and a line and wash can be a nice way to start, because you don't have to put as much detail in there. You can sketch. What I did first is I did my first wash, then kind of came back with my pen after that. But some people like to use their pen first, sketch in your drawing, or your details, not details, whatever you want to put in your drawing, and then come back and paint on top of that, or paint first and come back and sketch, which is what I did. If you do a line and wash, you want to make sure you use a waterproof pen, because if you don't, then it'll smear and might not look good. Unless you want that effect, of course, you don't have to use a waterproof pen, but it does look better. It won't have smudges and all that if you use a waterproof black pen. So as you see, I'm kind of adding some details with this second wash of colors. Then I'm coming back with kind of another dry brush of the raw sienna to go over those kind of with the brown matter to create more of a golden kind of orangey color. And then I wanted to put in some of those, the street there, was like that old cobblestoney look, so I wanted to add a little bit of that. Okay, so I thought, well, it's time to take off the masking fluid off of those lights and the girl on the bicycle, and start working on that part of the painting. So to make the lights, look, they were kind of like a yellowish orange color, I came in with the raw sienna and did a light wash of the raw sienna where those lights were. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to attempt to do this girl. And I was trying, you know, people are hard for me. I like the original one that I did painting. I thought the girl turned out pretty good. I was actually surprised at myself. But so I was a little nervous doing it again. And I didn't want to make her too detailed, so I took her slow. So I just did her hair and her, if you saw her hair and her, and the bike, which I decided to do blue. So then now I'm coming back with my pen here and adding a little bit more squiggly marks. Adding actually what I'm doing is adding the light. That's right. Sorry, I'm adding the little light holder. You know, this little part of the light that holds the light. So I made those on there, and now I'm taking my my extra fine marker there, and I'm adding little details to like where those walkways were. And then I thought, okay, I better start with the girl. She had a black little outfit on, so I thought I'd just use this pen to kind of sketch that in, sketch the tire in, and see what I could do. The original painting that I did on the left, gosh, that took me a long time. Probably, I'd say, maybe 8 hours. Or am I didn't time myself, but I'm guessing probably a full day, 8 hours. This loose painting took me about an hour, a lot less time to do. And it's been 2 years later. So I've been painting a lot in the last 2 years, so that could help too, you know. The more you paint, the kind of the quicker you get, or you learn new things, and just like with anything, practice. So I'm coming back, just adding a little bit more lines here and there, trying to show the doorways, and just adding a little bit more detail. I had to hold myself back with the detail. Then I'm just kind of lining around the lights there with that little fine pen there. Just trying to get them to stand out more, because I didn't. As you can see, this painting's kind of light. I didn't paint it very. The value's kind of light in this painting, so I was just trying to make it so those lights stand out a little bit. Okay, then I came back to finish the girl off, her little outfit, with my finer tipped brush there. Added a little bit Paynes gray to her outfit. You can see, add a little bit more darkness to her hair. And then I'm coming back and kind of adding a little bit of shading to those, to the lights. In the original painting, the lights turned out really good, but I did I wasn't all watercolor with that one. I did come back and use my yellow. I have which I'm going to use today too. I have a Florescent yellow gel pen, just one of those jelly roll gel pens, and I did come back and add a little bit of that to my first watercolor, just where the bulbs are, and just made them really pop. I did it with this one too, but this one doesn't pop as much as my first one, I think, because the first one's got a darker value to the painting, darker colors. This one, it's kind of a little bit more lighter. Okay, so here I am doing the string for the lights. So I hope you guys like this video. I know it's sped up. It's probably not one of those that you would want to follow. um, I don't know if I consider it a tutorial, but it's just more of I guess it could be considered a tutorial, but it's just more showing how you can kind of revisit an older painting and do it a different style. Maybe try to maybe you paint loose and you want to try and paint more, detailed, do the opposite of what I'm doing. But it was fun to revisit. And like I said, I want to do it again with some of my other paintings. So here I am. Well, sorry, I was yapping. I came with my acrylic pen and kind of put a white dot in those lights. Now that dried, so I'm coming back with my my that fluorescent yellow gel pen, and kind of adding dots, kind of just to give it a yellow glow. And I added the acrylic, the white Posca pen first, so when I added the gel pen, it would really pop because it was white underneath. That's kind of a trick you can do. You can add some white, like white acrylic pen or paint to something, and then go over it again, and it'll make whatever color you're doing pop out. So then I added some sprinkles with my fan brush, and then I thought, well, I'll add some more texture to this painting. So I kept my fan brush going and took some Paynes gray and just added a few streaks here and there to where those balconies were, where the little walkways are, where there's doors, windows, just to add some texture. And then I came back with my pen, add a little bit. I want to darken those walkways down there by her head there in the center. So I thought, okay, I'm done. And there it is. You can see it against the other one. And I think it turned out pretty good. I was proud of myself. I think if I did it again, it would even turn out better. So I hope you guys enjoy this and learn something from it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.